Guys, Jamie White here. Today I want to share 5 entrepreneurs that I look up to, I get so much from, and if you're in this space, you should be looking at too. And the reason I wanted to talk about these is, to be completely honest, there's so much garbage out there. There's so many fake entrepreneurs pretending like they're literally rocking the world, and their messaging is crap. And it's so important that as you're looking for inspiration, you're not getting it from these, because a lot of their content is completely toxic. So the first person I'm going to mention is Anthony Robbins. I went to his Unleash the Power Within conference age 17, and if I'm to look back at any absolutely massive changing point in my life, it was that conference. But whatever about going to a conference like that, all you have to do is tune into his channels. He is so positive, so inspiring. His content is fantastic, and it all really funnels around a message very aligned to my own, that whatever about being professionally successful, you've got to be on top of yourself first. You've got to be personally successful first. And once you are, everything flows from there. My second recommendation has to be Gary Vee. He's a guy that I take so much from. And the reason being is because when he's talking, he's not just talking to high-level entrepreneurs, he's talking to people without a cent in their pocket. The fact of the matter is, everybody can get value from him. And the way he's mastered social media means that whatever channel you're following from, you'll get really strong value. I hosted him himself here in Ireland a few years ago, and wow, he is just such a phenomenal speaker, such a phenomenal giver of content. And if you're following anyone, you have to be following him. So my third recommendation is probably a little bit in contrast to Gary Vee, but it's Richard Branson. Thankfully, Richard is really on top of his content on social media, and what he does brilliantly is he shows that entrepreneurial pursuit isn't all work. He really highlights the fun element of working. And I think that's so important to remember, that ultimately speaking, you work to live. It's not the other way around. And he absolutely does this, and he does it in an absolutely inspiring fashion. There's so much to take from him. There's a really strong message there, and hell, there's a huge business to back it all up to. My fourth recommendation has to be Simon Sinek, the man behind Start With Why. He's all about hacking your mind and understanding why you think a certain way. And for me, I think that's so unbelievably important, because if you're an entrepreneurial type, you'll get carried away with ideas. You might perhaps just get overexcited and jump into something. You might not actually understand your why. And understanding your why first will help you align your career in line with who you are. That is such an important message and such an important value to take, because if your career is aligned with who you are, you'll have a cutting edge energy over and above everybody else. And for me, as I said, Simon helps you, I suppose, hack into your head. And I think that's so valuable. My fifth recommendation is Tim Ferriss. And the reason I'd recommend him is because he very publicly trials and experiments loads of different things, whether it's with a working routine or whether it's a personal routine, his morning routine, his diet, his health, his training. He's all the time trialing, experimenting, and seeing what works for him. And the fact of the matter is, in an entrepreneurial pursuit, that's so important. Thomas Jefferson has this fantastic quote: if you do the same thing tomorrow that you did today, you'll get tomorrow what you got today. And that kind of quote, to be honest, it's something I all the time have in my head as I'm trying to push and think differently to get a cutting edge, whether that's personally. Hell, I've tried a ketogenic diet, I've tried yoga in the mornings, I've tried weights in the morning, I've tried so many different types of training, so many different types of supplements, all to get a little bit extra energy. I think that little bit differently. And when it comes to that whole space, he's really inspiring. So those are my 5 recommendations. The fact of the matter is, there's so much value that you can get from each and every one of them, but I think there's a complementary nature with all of them all together. They give different messages, and with that, there's so much you can take. Anyway, I'd love to hear your perspective. If there's any I've left out that you feel should be on that list, let me know. Similarly, if you've any perspective on any of them, again, let me know. And otherwise, I look forward to sharing my next piece of content soon.